The first sound was not a scream. It was water. Cold mountain water rushing over stone, endless and indifferent, the way it had for 10,000 years before Cyrus Blackwood was born, and the way it would for 10,000 more after he was gone. He stood knee-deep in Bear Creek, washing blood from his hunting knife, watching red dissolve into clear. The blade was old, forged by his own hand 13 years ago, when his hands were steadier and his heart less heavy. Now at 53, everything felt heavier. The knife, the mountain, the silence. September morning came slow to the Blue Ridge. Mist clung to the ridgeline like the ghosts of men he had known. Cyrus had learned to live with ghosts. They were better company than most living souls, quieter in their judgment, kinder in their absence. He scrubbed the blade clean with sand and creek water, methodical the way a man does when he has done the same task 1,000 times. Deer blood, nothing more. He had taken a bucket dawn-filled, dressed, it hung the meat in his smokehouse. Enough venison to last through October if he was careful. If he was alone. He was always alone. The knife went back in its sheath. Cyrus bent to cup water in his calloused hands, splashed his face, felt the cold shock travel down his spine. His reflection wavered in the current. Gray beard, long and unkempt hair past his shoulders, tied back with leather-cord eyes the color of winter sky. He looked like what he was, a man who had walked away from the world and never looked back. But the world had a way of finding you anyway. The sound came from downstream. Not animal, not wind, something else. Something wrong. Cyrus went still, water dripping from his beard, every sense suddenly alert. 40 years of living in wild country had taught him to read the mountain's language. This was a word he did not recognize. Breathing. Ragged, desperate breathing, like a wounded thing trying not to die. He moved without thought, feet finding purchase on slick stone, moving downstream toward the sound. The creek bent around a stand of hemlock, widened into a shallow pool, where he sometimes saw otter in the evening. No otter now, just a body, a woman's body face down in the shallows. Cyrus was beside her before his mind caught up to his legs. He turned her over, young, maybe 27, maybe 30, hard to tell beneath the bruising. Her face was a canvas of violence. Split lips, swollen eye blood, matted in dark hair. She wore the black habit of a nun, torn and filthy, soaked through. Her hands were bound with rope, wrists rubbed raw and bleeding. One leg bent at an angle that made his stomach turn. But it was her back that stopped his breath. When he lifted her from the water, her habit fell open. Carved into the pale skin between her shoulder blades, crude and deliberate, was a single word. Property. The letters were infected, weeping days old. Deep enough to scar forever. For a moment, Cyrus could not move, could not think. All he could see was that word carved into human flesh like a man brands cattle. All he could feel was rage, pure and cold, as the water that had nearly claimed her. She opened her eyes, bright green, like spring grass after rain. They fixed on his face with an intensity that pierced straight through him. Her lips moved. No sound came out, but he could read the shape of the words. Please don't let them find me. Then she was gone again, unconscious, limp in his arms. Cyrus Blackwood stood in that creek with a dying woman in his arms and made a choice. It was the kind of choice a man makes once in his life, if he is lucky. The kind that draws a line through everything that came before and everything that comes after. He could leave her, walk away, go back to his cabin and his solitude, and let the mountain take her the way it took everything eventually. No one would know. No one would blame him, but he would know, and he was so tired of knowing. The memory came whether he wanted it or not, a small face 8 years old, his son, his youngest boy, dying of fever in a canvas tent while a man in black robes said God's will be done. Father McKenna had refused medicine because Cyrus could not pay. Benjamin had died coughing blood, calling for Ma, for Pa, for anyone who would make the pain stop. Cyrus had spit on God's will 13 years ago. He would spit on it now. He carried her upstream, 3 miles through old-growth forest over deadfall and stone-climbing elevation with 110 pounds of dead weight in his arms. His shoulder screamed. His lungs burned. He did not stop, could not stop, because somewhere in the fog of pain and exertion he saw another face, Benjamin's face. And 2 years before Benjamin, there had been James, his oldest, also taken by fever, while Father McKenna talked of God's plan and reached for payment first and prayer second. The cabin appeared through the trees like a memory made solid. Rough-hewn logs, cedar shake, roof stone chimney, breathing thin smoke. He had built it with his own hands in 1870 after his wife Sarah died, coughing blood after his two boys followed her. 3 days later, after Father McKenna refused to give them medicine because Cyrus could not pay, he kicked the door open. Inside smelled of wood smoke and coffee and the particular loneliness of a place where only one person lives. He laid the woman on his bed, the same bed where Sarah had died, the same bed he had not shared with another living soul in 13 years. Her breathing was shallow, rapid. Fever heat radiated from her skin. He had seen this before. Infection, shock, maybe internal bleeding. She needed a doctor. The nearest doctor was 40 miles in Harlan. She would be dead before he made 10. So Cyrus did what he knew how to do. He started a fire, filled a pot with creek water, set it to boil. Went to the trunk where he kept the herbs Isaiah Crow had taught him to use. Golden seal root for infection, willow bark for fever, echinacea for the immune system, whatever that meant. Isaiah's words, not his. The old Cherokee had a way of knowing things that white men wrote in books they had never read. Cyrus worked through the morning. He cut away the ruined habit with his hunting knife, trying not to look at the damage beneath. Bruises everywhere, ribs maybe cracked, the broken leg for certain. Tibia snapped clean. He had set bones before on horses, on himself, once never on a woman half dead from a beating. He did it anyway. Splint from ashwood, straight grain strong but light, bandages torn from an old shirt. He mixed a paste of golden seal and bear grease, packed it on the infected wounds, the word on her back. Property. He cleaned it with boiled water and rage he could not name. She woke once while he worked, screamed, a sound like an animal in a trap. Her eyes found his, and there was no recognition there, only terror. He spoke low, the way he would speak to a spooked horse. "You are safe. I will not hurt you." "You are safe." She did not believe him. How could she? But eventually the pain pulled her back under. By noon she was bandaged, splinted, covered with his best quilt. Fever still burned in her. He sat beside the bed with a bowl of cool water, a rag dabbing her forehead the way Sarah used to dab the boys when they were sick. The memory came sharp enough to cut. He pushed it away. The woman's lips moved. Whispered words in a language he did not know. French, maybe. Something about a baby. "Je suis désolé, mon bébé." Over and over. "I am sorry, my baby." Cyrus wrung out the rag and wondered what kind of hell this woman had walked through to end up dying in his cabin. 3 times that first day he tended her. Morning when he found her, noon when he changed her bandage, evening when he spooned thin broth between her cracked lips. She barely swallowed. Most of it ran down her chin, but he tried. 3 times a day. Like a prayer. Like penance. Night came to the mountain. Cyrus lit a lantern, fed the fire, sat in his chair by the hearth, and watched her breathe. In, out. In, out. Each breath a small miracle. Each moment another chance for her body to decide whether to live or die. He must have dozed because he woke to hoofbeats. 2 horses coming up the trail in full dark. Only a fool or a desperate man rides mountain trails at night. Cyrus was on his feet, rifle in hand, moving to the window. Through the gap in the shutters he saw them. 2 men, one big and broad, sitting his horse like a sack of grain. The other lean, nervous eyes scanning the tree line. The big one dismounted. Sheriff Warren Blake. Cyrus recognized him even in moonlight. Hard not to recognize a man that size, that shape. Blake had been sheriff of Harlan County for 15 years, and in all that time, Cyrus had never trusted him. Something in the eyes, something bought and paid for. The lean one stayed mounted. That was interesting. Blake knocked, 3 hard raps that echoed through the cabin like gunshots. Cyrus opened the door 6 inches, rifle visible, message clear. "Evening, Warren." The sheriff's voice was gravel and whiskey. "Been a long time." "Not long enough." "What do you want?" Blake's eyes flicked past him, trying to see inside. "Looking for something. Looking for someone. We are searching for a woman, none. From St. Helena Convent. Dangerous. Killed one of the sisters. We think she might have come this way." Cyrus kept his face stone. Did not think, just reacted. "Have not seen anyone. Just me and the deer." "You sure about that?" Blake took a step closer. "Because we got hounds. We got tracks. They lead right to Bear Creek, right to your hunting ground. Creek washes away tracks, you know that." The lean rider shifted in his saddle, spoke up for the first time. Boss, if he says he has not seen anyone, he has not seen anyone. Something in that voice was familiar. Cyrus looked closer, saw the face in the moonlight, and felt time collapse. Ethan Stone. 20 years younger than when Cyrus had last seen him, but the same man, same eyes. They had served together back in '63 on the Oregon Trail. Cyrus had been wagon master. Ethan had been a green kid from Pennsylvania, barely 16, who nearly got himself killed by Sioux raiders. Cyrus had pulled him out of that fight, took an arrow meant for him, saved his life. Looked like Ethan remembered. Blake glared at his deputy but backed off. All right, but if you see her, you bring her in. There is a reward. $800 dead or alive. He climbed back on his horse, paused. Woman is dangerous, Cyrus. Possessed. You see her, you put her down like a rabid dog. That is a kindness. They rode off. Cyrus stood in the doorway until the hoofbeats faded, until the mountain swallowed the sound of them. Then he closed the door, locked. It turned. She was awake, sitting up in bed, pale as death, eyes fixed on him with an expression he could not read. Fear, yes, but something else. Recognition, maybe. Or resignation. Her voice came out ruined, barely a whisper. Who are you? Cyrus set the rifle down, walked to the fire, poured himself coffee with hands that wanted to shake. Name is Cyrus Blackwood. This is my cabin. You are safe here. She tried to laugh. It came out as a cough that doubled her over in pain. Safe, there is no such thing. Maybe not, but you are alive. That is something. She looked at her bandaged hands, her splinted leg, the quilt covering her. Then at him. Really looked at him for the first time. Saw the gray beard, the hard eyes, the rifle by the door. Saw a man who lived alone and wanted it that way. Why did you help me? Cyrus stared into his coffee, saw his reflection dark and distorted. Because I did not help someone once and they died. The silence stretched. Outside, wind moved through the pines. An owl called. The fire popped. What is your name? He asked. She hesitated like the answer might damn her. Grace. Sister Grace Hammond. Well, Grace, you got people trying to kill you. Got a sheriff calling you possessed. Got a price on your head. You want to tell me why? She closed her eyes. When she opened them again, they were wet. Because I know the truth, and the truth is going to get me killed. Cyrus waited. Grace pulled the quilt tighter like armor against memory. St. Helena Convent, you know it? Heard of it? Up in the hills. Takes in orphans. Her voice cracked. Takes them in. Sells them out. Cyrus felt something cold settle in his gut. Father Silas Thorne runs it. He has been selling children to rich families for 10 years. Calls it adoption. Charges $500 to $2,000 per child depending on age, health, skin color. She stopped, breathed. The ones who cannot be sold. The sick ones, the dark-skinned ones, the ones too old. He keeps them in the cellar. Works them like slaves. 18 of them down there right now. Chained to iron rings and stone walls. Fed once a day scraps. Beaten when they cry. No sunlight, no fresh air. Disease spreading. Several have died. Sweet Jesus, I was part of it. Grace's voice dropped to a whisper. He made me part of it, she told him then. About being sent to the convent 6 years ago, age 21. Her father, Judge Owen Hammond, had sent her there after she got pregnant out of wedlock, after he forced a miscarriage that killed her baby. Sent her to hide the scandal to find God. Father Thorne knew the truth. Helped cover it up. In exchange, Grace had to watch the other sisters. Report anyone who asked questions. There was one sister. Sister Ruth. Old woman, 72. She had been a nurse in the war, kept records, names, dates, amounts. Every child sold every family that bought them. She was going to go to the authorities. Grace wiped her eyes. I found Father Thorne strangling her in the chapel. She was already dead when I got there. He saw me, he smiled, and he said, now you are part of this too. What happened then? He told the sheriff I killed her. Told everyone I was possessed. Dangerous. Sheriff Blake took me to the woods, him and 2 others. They beat me, carved that word into my back to teach me about ownership. Then they threw me in the creek to drown. But you did not drown. No, she looked at him. You found me. Cyrus stood, walked to the window, looked out at the dark mountain. Those children, they still at the convent, 18 of them in the cellar. He turned. Something in his face must have changed because Grace flinched. Two of them, she said quietly, are named Daniel and Emma Reed. The world stopped. Cyrus heard his own heartbeat, felt it in his throat, his ears, his fingertips. Say that again. Daniel Reed, 9 years old. His sister Emma is 7. They have been there for 2 years. They ask about you every day. The cup fell from Cyrus's hand. Coffee spread across the floor like blood. The flashback came whether he wanted it or not. 2 years ago, 1881, finding them by the burnt remains of their parents' homestead. Bushwhackers had killed the mother and father, left the children alive out of cruelty or mercy, hard to say which. Daniel had been 7, then Emma 5. Both of them covered in soot and tears, holding each other like the world had ended, which it had. Cyrus had taken them in, not legally, not officially, just took them, built them a room off the cabin, taught Daniel to track, to shoot, to read the mountain, read stories to Emma every night until she fell asleep. For 2 years he had had a family again. For 2 years he had believed maybe God was not entirely cruel. Then Father Thorn came with papers, legal documents, forged or real, Cyrus never knew. Said the children needed proper education, needed the church, needed God's guidance. Cyrus had no papers, no legal claim, just love. And love meant nothing to the law. Daniel had cried, begged, "Pa, do not let them take me. Pa, please." Cyrus had stood there, tears running into his beard, and watched them load his children into a wagon. Because that is what the law said. Because he was nobody, just a man alone on a mountain. He looked at Grace now, voice hollow. "You are telling me they are locked in a cellar, yeah? You are telling me Thorne is selling them? He already has buyers. A family in Philadelphia. They leave in 5 days. 5 days." Cyrus walked to his trunk, opened it. Inside were things he had not touched in years. His old Colt revolver. Box of ammunition. The clothes he had worn when he led wagon trains west before the fever took everything that mattered. $300 in gold coins. His life savings. He loaded the Colt, checked the cylinder, spun it. The sound was cold and final. Grace watched him. "What are you going to do?" Cyrus did not hesitate. "I am going to get my children back." "You cannot." Grace struggled to sit up straighter. "Thorne has the law. He has money. He has the church. You are one man, then I will die one man." He looked at her. "But I will not let them sell my son." Grace stared at him. Then she did something unexpected. She smiled. It hurt her split lip. She did not care. Sister Ruth kept a journal, red leather. She hid it in the chapel under the altar of the Virgin Mary. Every name, every crime, every dollar. If we get that journal to a federal judge, Thorne falls. The whole system falls. We. Grace threw off the quilt, tried to stand. Her broken leg gave out immediately. Cyrus caught her before she hit the floor. "I can help," she gasped. "I know the convent. I know the tunnels. I know where the children are. You can barely walk. I will crawl if I have to." She gripped his arm. "Those children are locked in darkness. They are starving. They are terrified. Every day they wait for someone to save them, and no one comes." Her voice broke. "I will not let them die waiting." Cyrus looked down at this woman who had been beaten, carved, drowned, and left for dead, who could barely stand but wanted to walk back into hell. He thought about Daniel. He thought about Emma. He made his decision. "All right, but we do this my way. We plan it. We get help. We do not just charge in and die. Who is going to help us?" As if in answer there was a knock at the door. Different from Blake's knock, softer. 3 taps, pause, 2 taps. Old signal from the war. Cyrus opened the door. Ethan Stone stood there, hat in hand, looking older than he had 2 hours ago. "Boss," he said quietly, "we need to talk." Inside. Ethan sat by the fire. Grace stayed in bed watching. Cyrus stood, arms crossed. "You wearing a badge, Ethan. You work for Blake, but you are here." White Ethan stared into the flames. "Blake came back from the woods 3 nights ago. Had blood on his boots. I asked him what happened. He said he put down a mad dog. Next day the convent reports a Sister Grace dead. Killed Sister Ruth, they said. Threw herself in the creek out of guilt." Pause. "But you did not believe it?" "No." Ethan looked up. "I did not believe it because I know Blake. I know the kind of man he is, and I know what kind of man you are, boss. You would not hide a killer, but you might hide someone running from one." "Smart, I try." Ethan pulled something from his coat, a folded poster. Wanted notice. He handed it to Cyrus. The paper showed a rough sketch of Grace. The text read, $800 reward Sister Grace Hammond wanted for murder. Return alive to Father Silas Thorne. Cyrus passed it to Grace. She looked at her own face, her own death warrant, and laughed bitterly. Alive. They want me alive because dead women cannot confess to crimes they did not commit. Ethan said Thorne needs you to confess publicly. Then you will die of guilt or accident or whatever story he invents. Rose crumpled the poster, threw it in the fire, watched her face burn. So what now? Now Cyrus said, we make a plan. Ethan, you know the law. What do we need to take down Thorne evidence? Witnesses, and a judge who cannot be bought. We have got witnesses, 18 of them. We have got evidence, a journal. He looked at Ethan. You know a clean judge, Ethan thought. Judge Edmund Harris, Federal Circuit. He is in Charleston right now. Old school, honest. If we can get to him with proof, he will act. Charleston is 4 days' ride. 5 days until the children are sold. Grace said, we do not have time for Charleston. Then we do both. Cyrus started pacing. Ethan rides to Charleston tonight, gets the judge, brings him back. Meanwhile, Grace and I go to the convent, get the journal, free the children. We meet in Harlan in 4 days with evidence, witnesses, and a judge. That is insane, Ethan said. You are talking about breaking into a convent, assaulting church officials, kidnapping children, all while wanted for murder. I am talking about saving 18 lives. You will need help. You cannot do this alone. There was another knock. This one was not soft. It was deliberate. One strike. The sound of a man who does not need to knock twice. Cyrus opened the door. Isaiah Crow stood there. 68 years old. Cherokee. Tall and straight as a pine. His right hand was bandaged, had been for 2 years since the accident with the sawmill. His eyes were black and bottomless. I heard horses, Isaiah said. I smell trouble. He looked past Cyrus at Grace, at Ethan. Now I see I was right. Come in, old friend. Isaiah entered, looked at Grace, looked at Cyrus, understood everything without being told. That was Isaiah's gift. Understanding. The white woman is dying. She is healing. Cyrus corrected. Same thing sometimes. Isaiah sat cross-legged by the fire. Did not ask permission. Never did. You plan to fight? Yes. The church? Yes. You will lose. Probably. Isaiah smiled. First genuine smile Cyrus had seen in weeks. Good. I was getting bored. Grace stared at the old man. Who are you, Isaiah Crow? Friend of the mountain. Teacher of this fool. He nodded at Cyrus. Survivor of the Trail of Tears. And currently the only reason Cyrus knows which plants heal and which kill. I taught him everything he used to save you. So in a way, you owe me your life. He looked at her seriously. I accept payment in tobacco and whiskey. Despite everything, Grace smiled. The four of them sat there in the firelight. A mountain man wanted by no one. A nun wanted for murder. A deputy betraying his sheriff. An old Cherokee who had already lost everything. It should have felt hopeless. Instead, it felt like the beginning of something. Cyrus pulled out a rough map he had drawn of the region. St. Helena Convent here. My cabin here. Harlan here. Charleston here, Mom. Ethan, you leave tonight. 4 days to Charleston and back with Judge Harris. Can you make it if I kill 3 horses maybe? Kill 6 if you have to. We need that judge. What about the rest of us? Grace asked. We rest tonight. Tomorrow Isaiah gathers supplies. Rope, food, weapons, I prepare. Day after tomorrow, Grace and I leave for the convent. We go in at night, get the journal free, the children get out before dawn. And if something goes wrong, Ethan asked, then we improvise. Cyrus looked at each of them. I will not lie. This might get us all killed. If you want out, now is the time. No one moved. Isaiah spoke. The spirits told me 13 years ago that I would live to see you smile again. Cyrus Blackwood. I have not seen it yet, so I will stay until I do. Ethan stood. I owe you my life, boss. Time I paid that debt. Grace said nothing, just met Cyrus's eyes and nodded. It was settled. Ethan left first, riding hard for Charleston. Before mounting, he gripped Cyrus's shoulder. Boss, if I do not make it back, you will make it. But if I do not, tell them I tried to be better than I was. You already are. Ethan rode off into darkness. Hoofbeats faded. 4 days. The clock started. Isaiah left an hour later, heading to his cabin 2 miles north. Promised to return at dawn with supplies. Cyrus and Grace were alone again. She needed sleep, needed rest. But first she needed to say something. In the cellar, she whispered, "There is a girl, Emma Reed. She is blind in one eye." The other sisters hit her when she cried. "When you see her, tell her Sister Grace says she is the bravest little girl in the world. Tell her I am sorry I could not protect her. Tell her someone is coming who can." "I will tell her." Grace lay back, closed her eyes. Within minutes, she was asleep. Cyrus sat by her bed. Third time that day. Morning, noon, night. 3 times he had tended her. 3 times he had chosen life over death. 3 times he had said no to the mountain, no to God's will, no to the easy path of walking away. He looked at his hands. Scarred, calloused, capable of building and destroying in equal measure. Tomorrow they would start preparing. 4 days from now, everything would change. He extinguished the lantern, sat in darkness, listened to Grace breathe, and the fire crackle, and the wind move through the pines. And for the first time in 13 years, Cyrus Blackwood felt something that was not grief. He felt purpose. Outside, the mountain held its breath. The stars wheeled overhead. A wolf howled somewhere in the high country. All the world waited for dawn. In 4 days, a man would walk into a church and demand justice. In 4 days, 18 children would learn that miracles do not always roar. Sometimes they just whisper 3 times a day until you are strong enough to stand on your own. Dawn came cold to the mountain. Cyrus woke in his chair by the dying fire neck, stiff rifle across his lap. Old habits. A man who sleeps unarmed in wild country does not wake up old. He fed the fire, set coffee to boil, checked on Grace. She slept fitful fever down, but breathing shallow. Her splinted leg looked better. The infection in the carved word on her back had stopped spreading. Small victories. They had 3 days before the children were sold to the Philadelphia family. 3 days to do the impossible. Isaiah arrived as the sun cleared the ridge, leading a mule packed with gear. The old Cherokee moved through the forest like smoke, appeared at the cabin door without sound or warning. He unpacked methodically. Coiled rope, hemp and strong. Dried venison wrapped in oilcloth. Cornmeal in canvas sacks. 2 additional rifles, older percussion models but clean and functional. A leather pouch of cartridges. Another pouch of mixed herbs, roots, and dried leaves Cyrus half recognized. "For the woman," Isaiah said, gesturing toward Grace. "She walks tomorrow or she does not come. This will help." "What is it?" "Devil's club root. Reduces swelling. Also tastes like sin, so she will hate you." Isaiah allowed himself a thin smile. Good for character. They spent the morning in preparation. Isaiah drew a detailed map in the dirt outside the cabin, using stones and sticks to mark positions. St. Helena Convent sat on a limestone ridge 15 miles east, surrounded by cleared farmland on 3 sides. The fourth side, north face, dropped into a ravine thick with birch and hemlock. No approach in daylight without being seen. But the land remembered its secrets. "Here," Isaiah said, pointing to the ravine. "Old silver mine. 1852, maybe 53. Went bust before the war. Tunnel runs under the ridge. Comes up near the convent foundation. How near? 20 feet from the cellar wall. Maybe less." Isaiah looked at Cyrus. "Grace told you about this." She mentioned tunnels. The sisters used them during the war. Hid deserters, runaway slaves, anyone running from something. Isaiah scraped another line in the dirt. "Entrance here. 300 paces straight. Junction left turn. Another 100 paces to a brick wall. Old cistern foundation, loose bricks. Behind that, the cellar. You have been inside long time ago, when your wife was still alive." Samuel met his eyes. Different war, different ghosts. They walked the route in daylight, and Cyrus and Isaiah leaving Grace to rest. 15 miles through broken country, ridges and hollows, creek crossings where water ran cold and clear over limestone shelves. They found the mine entrance exactly where Isaiah remembered. A black mouth in the hillside, half collapsed, choked with deadfall and 20 years of leaf litter. They cleared it enough to pass. Inside, the tunnel was tight, low ceiling, water pooled on the stone floor. Timbers sagged overhead, rotted in places, but still holding. The air smelled of earth and time and absolute darkness. Cyrus lit a candle stub. The flame pushed back shadows, but not far. They moved through the tunnel, counting paces. At 300, the passage split. Left tunnel descended, narrower ceiling, lower still. At 400 paces, the brick wall appeared. Old masonry Civil War era mortar crumbling. Isaiah pressed on the center section. It gave. Not much, but enough. This is it, Isaiah said. On the other side, 18 children in chains. Cyrus put his hand on the bricks, felt cold stone, felt the weight of what they were about to do. Can they make it through, the children? If they want to live, they will make it. They returned to the cabin by a different route, wider loop, checking sight lines and approach angles. The convent stood visible from 3 miles out. White stone walls catching afternoon sun. Cross on the chapel rising black against blue sky. Beautiful if you did not know what happened inside. Cyrus had learned that beauty and evil often wore the same face. Grace was on her feet when they returned. Barely, she had managed to cross the cabin twice using the walking stick, each step a negotiation with pain. Isaiah watched her, said nothing, then brewed the Devil's Club tea. The cabin filled with a smell like turpentine and rotted bark. Grace drank it without complaint, gagged once kept it down. Again, Cyrus said. She looked at him with those green eyes gone hard. You enjoy this, I enjoy you living. Walk. She walked 10 steps, 15. Collapsed into the chair, breathing like she had run a mile. Cyrus waited. When her breathing steadied, he made her stand again. This time 20 steps. She fell at 18. He caught her, set her upright, made her finish. She cursed him in French and English, impossibly Latin. He did not care. In 2 days, she would need to walk a mile underground in darkness. Either she could or she could not. His job was making sure she could. That evening, Isaiah brought news. He had scouted the convent perimeter while Cyrus worked Grace. 6 guards visible, dogs, maybe 4 kept in kennels on the east side. Father Thorne had been seen that afternoon walking the grounds with Sheriff Blake. They talked for an hour about what Isaiah could not say, but both men looked worried. They know someone is coming, Isaiah said. They do not know who or when, but they know. Then we move faster than they expect. Fast does not matter if you are dead. Isaiah poured coffee, strong and bitter. We need a distraction, something big enough to pull every guard north while you go in from the south. What kind of distraction? Fire. Isaiah said it simple, like he was discussing weather. North wing of the convent, old wood frame construction, kerosene and rags. It will burn like a pine torch. Every man on that property will run to save it. And you will set this fire, I will. Alone is how I work best. Cyrus studied his old friend. 68 years old, right hand, half crippled from a sawmill accident. Walking into danger because Cyrus asked. He wanted to say something. Thank you did not cover it. Isaiah seemed to understand anyway. I have lived 3 lifetimes already, the old Cherokee said quietly. Died twice, still here. The spirits are not done with me yet. He smiled. Besides, someone needs to make sure you smile before I go. Have not seen that in 13 years. I am owed. They planned through the night. Cyrus drew maps, checked gear-loaded weapons. Grace practiced walking until her leg bled through the bandages. Isaiah prepared his fire materials. Kerosene in sealed bottles, rags soaked and wrapped tight in oilcloth. At midnight, they rested. 2 hours of sleep, maybe 3. At 1 in the morning, Cyrus woke to dogs. Isaiah was already at the window, ear to the ground. Hounds, many, coming fast, maybe 2 miles out. Can you ride, Cyrus asked Grace. I can barely walk, then we hide. Isaiah was already moving. Take Grace, go to my cabin, 2 miles north, stay hidden. What about you? I will lead them away. Buy us time. No, we stay together. Grace started. No time. Go. Now, Isaiah scooped Grace up. She cried out in pain but did not protest. He disappeared into the forest like smoke. Cyrus alone. He grabbed his rifle, blew out the lantern, waited in darkness. The hounds arrived first. 4 bloodhounds baying, circling the cabin. Then Blake with 6 men, torches lit, surrounding the cabin. Cyrus Blackwood. Blake's voice carried across the clearing. We know you got the nun. Send her out. Nobody gets hurt. Cyrus did not answer. You got 10 seconds. Then we burn you out. Blake started counting. 10, 9, 8. At 3, Cyrus fired a shot through the window. Deliberate miss over their heads. Message clear. I am here. I am armed. Come get me. Blake's men scattered to return fire. Bullets ripped through the cabin walls. Log walls held but splintered. Cyrus moved. Not at the window anymore. At the back wall. He kicked out a loose board he had prepared years ago. Always have an escape route. Slipped out into darkness. The forest chase began. Cyrus ran. Not panic. Controlled. Leading them away from Isaiah's direction. Hounds picked up his scent, followed. Blake's men followed the hounds. Cyrus knew these woods. They did not. He waded upstream 100 yards to break the scent trail. Passed through dense deadfall the hounds could not follow. Doubled back, circled behind them. Climbed a rock outcrop they could not reach with horses. By 3 in the morning he had lost them. He sat on the ridge, watched torches below, frustrated searching. Blake's voice echoed. Find him. I want him found, but they would not tonight. Cyrus waited until dawn, then moved. He arrived at Isaiah's cabin as the sun broke. Smaller than his own, single room, but warm, defended. Grace slept on Isaiah's bed, exhausted from pain and fear. Isaiah made coffee. You lose them for now. Blake knows I am helping her. He will keep hunting. Then we work faster. Isaiah handed Cyrus coffee. Drink. Then we scout. The situation had compressed. They had 3 days left. Today, September 15th, reconnaissance. Tomorrow, September 16th, final preparation and Grace's training. Day after September 17th, infiltration at night. September 18th, Ethan returns with the judge. September 19th, children sold if they failed. Blake complicates things. Cannot go back to your cabin. Burned or watched. Must operate from here. Harder, more dangerous. But no choice. Morning scout. Cyrus and Isaiah left Grace sleeping. 15 miles to the convent through terrain that fought them every step. Limestone ridges where water ran underground. Dense forest where old growth blocked the sun. They moved like ghosts, 2 men who knew wilderness intimately. Isaiah taught as they walked. See this broken twig. Man passed here yesterday. Heavy, walking fast. This disturbed leaves. 3 men, armed. Patrol, Blake's men. They are guarding approaches. They used ridge lines, stayed in heavy cover, moved slow. Silence over speed. 3 miles out, the convent became visible through trees. White stone 3 stories, Gothic revival architecture. Black cross on the chapel rising 40 feet. Bell tower on the north wing. Surrounded by cleared farmland 150 acres. Walls limestone blocks 2 feet thick. East-southwest faced open farmland, no cover. North faced a ravine dropped 200 feet into thick forest. Only viable approach. Isaiah's eyes sharper than Cyrus's counted guards. 8, not 6. 2 at the main gate east, 2 at the chapel entrance south. 4 mobile patrols, dogs 6, not 4. Blake warned them. Security doubled. This just got harder, Cyrus said. Everything worth doing is hard. Another 2 miles circling wide and they found the mine entrance in the ravine north face. Black mouth in the hillside. Half collapsed. They cleared the entrance again just enough. Inside, the technical realities became clear. Tunnel conditions. Height 5 feet 6 inches at the peak. Must stoop. Width 4 feet. Single file. Floor uneven rock water pooled. Timbers rotted in places, holding in others. Air cold damp smell of earth. Cyrus lit a candle. Flame small flickering. Darkness absolute beyond its reach. They counted paces carefully. Isaiah leading, Cyrus following. At 100 paces, ceiling lowered to 5 feet. At 200, water deeper, ankle deep. At 300, the passage split. Decision, left tunnel. Isaiah remembered. Left tunnel descended 10 degrees. Narrower, 3 feet wide. Ceiling dropped to 4 feet 8 inches. Must crawl in some sections. Technical dangers became apparent. Bad air. Cyrus tested with the candle. Flame stayed steady. Air good enough. Collapse risk. He tapped timbers. Some solid, some soft. Marked the weak sections in his mind. Water depth, never more than 6 inches. Passable. At 500 paces total, the brick wall. Civil War era masonry. Mortar crumbling with age and moisture. Height 8 feet. Width full tunnel width. Thickness unknown. Center section different. Newer mortar, 10 or 15 years old. Poorly done. Bricks loose. Isaiah pressed the center section. It gave. Maybe half an inch. But it gave. This is it. Cyrus put his hand on the bricks. On the other side cellar, 18 children in chains. Can they make it through, the children? Isaiah looked at the tunnel behind them. 500 paces, dark, tight, flooding in places. If they want to live, they will make it. Return journey, different route, wider loop. From the tree line 3 miles out, Isaiah's sharper eyes assessed the north wing. Wood frame construction older than the main building. Dry timber weathered. Windows 8 on the ground floor. Kerosene lamps visible inside. Guard barracks, perfect for fire. East side dog kennels with 6 dogs. Stables with 12 horses. Equipment sheds. South side chapel entrance. Heavy oak doors. Stained glass windows. West side kitchen wing. Chimney smoking. Service entrance. Guard patterns. Mobile patrols every 30 minutes circuit the building. Change shifts 6 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, 10 at night. Night guard reduced to 4 men after 10. Best time to strike. 3 in the morning, minimum guards, maximum darkness. Before dawn. Returning to Isaiah's cabin, they finalized the plan, Isaiah's fire plan. I will set the north wing ablaze. 3 in the morning exactly. Materials needed. Kerosene 3 bottles. Rags soaked in whale oil. Slow-burning fuse. Matches waterproof. Technique. 3 entry points on the north wing. East corner window ground floor. Center window ground floor. West corner window ground floor. Each gets a bottle of kerosene and oil-soaked rags. Fuse connects all 3. Light one end runs to all 3. Simultaneous ignition. Timing. Light fuse at 2:55 in the morning. Fuse burns 30 seconds per foot. 5 feet equals 2.5 minutes. Ignition at 2:57:30. Fire visible by 3. Guards respond. Pull from all sides to fight fire. Window 15 to 20 minutes before they realize it is a distraction. Cyrus and Grace enter the tunnel at 2:30. Reach the cellar by 2:55. Free children by 3:15. Exit by 3:30. Isaiah, after setting the fire, moves to the extraction point. Covers their escape. If Isaiah is caught, then I die buying you time. Isaiah, Cyrus started. We all die sometime, friend. Better to die for something than nothing. Isaiah looked at Cyrus with those black, bottomless eyes. You get those children out. That is all that matters. September 16th, one day before infiltration. Morning session, 6 in the morning. Isaiah brewed Devil's Club tea. The cabin filled with a smell like turpentine and rotted bark. Grace drank, gagged, kept it down. Walk, Cyrus said. First attempt. Grace stood, used the walking stick. 10 steps, face pale with pain. 15 steps, breathing hard. 18 steps, leg gave out. Cyrus caught her, set her upright. Again. She looked at him with green eyes gone hard. You enjoy this, I enjoy you living. Tomorrow you walk a mile underground in darkness. Either you can or you cannot. My job is making sure you can. She cursed him in French. He did not care. Second attempt, 20 steps before collapse. Third attempt, 25 steps. By 8 in the morning, 50 steps without stopping. Noon session, 12 o'clock. 3 times a day, ritual maintained. Cyrus changed Grace's bandages. Leg assessment, swelling decreased significantly. Bone aligned properly, no signs of infection. Devil's Club working, back wound the word property, infection cleared. Scabbing over, would scar permanently, but would not kill her. Grace's question, tomorrow, in that tunnel, if I cannot make it, if I slow you down. Pause. Leave me, get the children out. Cyrus cleaned the wound, did not look up. No. Cyrus, I am serious. He finally looked at her. I left my children once because the law said I had to. Watch them taken. Did nothing. His voice went hard. I do not leave people anymore. We all get out or none of us do. Grace stared at him, then nodded. Walking practice resumed. 50 steps, 75, 100. By 2 in the afternoon, 150 steps before needing rest. Evening session. 6 o'clock. Weapons training with Isaiah. Isaiah set up targets in the clearing behind the cabin. Pine cones balanced on stumps 20 paces out. He handed Grace an old Colt Navy revolver. Isaiah taught, do not aim with eyes. Aim with whole body. Point like you are pointing your finger. Squeeze slow between heartbeats. Grace fired. Shot went wide. Dirt kicked up 5 feet left of target. Frustrated look. Isaiah patient. Again. After 13 shots, first hit. Pine cone exploded. Isaiah nodded once. Now you know you can. Rest is practice in time. Pause. Unfortunately, we are short on both. Walking practice final session. By 8 in the evening, 200 steps without stopping. Legs screaming, face gray with pain. But she did it, Cyrus watched. Tomorrow, 1 mile. Mostly crawling. Absolute darkness, you will make it. How do you know? Because you already died once. Came back. 1 mile is nothing compared to that. Cut to Blake's camp 5 miles from Isaiah's cabin. Blake had 10 men now more deputized. Maps spread on ground marking search patterns. Blackwood is somewhere in these mountains, Blake told his men. Old Cherokee too, Isaiah Crow. They got the none. We have searched South Quadrant, West Quadrant. Nothing. Tomorrow we search the North Quadrant. Crow's cabin is up there. I know it. Deputy spoke. What about the convent Father Thorne expects us? Thorne has his own guards. We find Blackwood first. Bring him in, then deal with the nun. Orders, split into 3 teams, sweep north ridges at dawn. Anyone sees smoke tracks, anything signal with rifle shot. Back to Isaiah's cabin 9 at night. Isaiah returned from scouting. Blake's camped 5 miles south. 10 men, moving north tomorrow. Will they find us, Cyrus asked. Eventually. Question is when. Pause. We need to move tonight, before dawn, before Blake's sweep. The timeline compressed. Original plan leave tomorrow night, September 17th. New plan leave tonight, September 16th. 12 hours early, complications. Grace not fully healed. Isaiah had not gathered all supplies. No final reconnaissance. Riskier. No choice. We leave at midnight, Cyrus said. 3 hours, 9 at night to midnight. Rushed preparation. Gear check, Cyrus Winchester with 15 rounds plus 45 spare. Colt revolver 6 rounds plus 24 spare. Bowie knife, rope 50 feet, hemp 1 inch. Small hammer and cold chisel for chains. Oil lantern turned low. Canteen. Canvas pack. Grace. Walking stick. Knife Isaiah gave her. Canvas pack with bandages and medicine. Warm clothes. Isaiah's old shirt and pants. Hair braided tight, tucked under a hat. Isaiah. Fire materials. 3 bottles kerosene. Oil-soaked rags. Slow burn fuse 15 feet. Waterproof matches. Percussion rifle. Tomahawk. Fighting knife. Canvas satchel. Food. Jerky. Hardtack. Dried fruit. Enough for 2 days. Final briefing. Isaiah drew in the dirt. Tunnel entrance here. 500 paces to cellar. I set fire here. He pointed at the north wing. 3 in the morning exactly. You free children here. He pointed at the cellar. By 3:15, extraction point here. Old Dawson Farm 10 miles west. By dawn. Ethan meets us in Harlan, noon September 18th. Question Cyrus asked. What if Blake finds us before we reach the tunnel, Grace said. Then we fight. And probably die. Isaiah paused, but we try anyway. Midnight, September 17th. They left Isaiah's cabin, moon 3/4 full, bright enough to see, not so bright they cast long shadows. Formation. Isaiah leading Cherokee stealth-nosed terrain. Cyrus middle protecting Grace. Grace following limping but steady. 15 miles through wilderness. Technical navigation. Hour 1 midnight to 1 in the morning. Follow ridge spine, avoid valleys where Blake might camp. Cross 2 creeks, Wade do not use bridges. Avoid game trails too obvious. Use North Star for bearing. Hour 2, 1 to 2 in the morning. Terrain rougher, steeper climbs. Grace struggling, but does not complain. Stop twice for her to rest 5 minutes each. Isaiah scouting ahead, checking for patrols. Near miss with Blake's patrol. At 1:30, Isaiah raised fist. Stop. Points ahead. Through trees torchlight. Voices. 3 men. Blake's patrol. They are camped across the route, 50 yards away. Isaiah hand signals. Wide detour. North. 400 yards. Adds 20 minutes but safer. They move like ghosts. Absolute silence. Pass within 100 yards of Blake's men. Never seen. Hour 3, 2 to 2:30 in the morning. Convent appears through trees. White stone in moonlight. Windows mostly dark. 2 lanterns and east wing guard posts. Beautiful and terrible. They circle wide to the north ravine. 2:30 in the morning. Mine entrance. This is where I leave you, Isaiah said. Looks at Cyrus. You have 45 minutes. Reach the cellar. Free children. Start moving back. At 3 fire starts. Guards respond. That is your window. Hand Cyrus a pocket watch. Watch the time. Do not be late. Cyrus takes the watch. Looks at his old friend. Wants to say something. Thank you, insufficient. Isaiah understands anyway. Smile when you get back. He disappears into the forest like smoke. Cyrus and Grace alone. Cyrus lights the oil lantern wick very low, just enough to see. To Grace. Stay close. Watch your head. Step where I step. If you need to stop, squeeze my shoulder once. Twice means emergency. How will you know I squeezed if you are ahead, your hand stays on my shoulder entire time? I will know. Grace puts her hand on his shoulder. They enter the tunnel. The descent. Technical and tense. First 100 paces. Conditions. Ceiling 5 feet 6 inches, both must stoop. Width 4 feet, single file. Floor wet, slippery limestone. Temperature drops to 52 degrees. Sound their breathing, water dripping, boots splashing. Grace's breathing controlled. Scared but managing. 100 to 200 paces. Ceiling lowers to 5 feet. Water deeper 4 inches. Cyrus feels Grace's hand squeeze once. Stop. He stops, turns. Just need a second, Grace whispers. Leg cramping. He waits. Counts to 30. Her hand relaxes. They continue. 200 to 300 paces. Darkness absolute beyond the lantern's small circle. Feels like the tunnel closing in. Walls pressing. Grace's breathing changes. Faster. Shallower. Panic starting. Cyrus does not turn, just talks. Low calm. Grace. Listen to my voice. Just my voice. Not the walls. Not the dark. When I was 8, my pa took me in a cave. I panicked. Could not breathe. He told me dark cannot hurt you. Only fear of dark can. So breathe. In through nose, out through mouth. Count to 4 each way. Grace tries. In 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Breathing steadies. They continue. 300 paces junction, left tunnel, descends. Even narrower, ceiling 4 feet 8 inches. Next 200 paces must crawl in sections. Cyrus crawls. Lantern in left hand, rifle dragging behind. Grace follows using walking stick as a probe. Water 6 inches deep in low sections. Soaks through clothes. Ice cold. At one point, timber overhead creaks. Dust rains down. They freeze. Timber holds. Continue. 500 paces total. Brick wall appears in lantern light. Cyrus checks the watch. 2:55. 5 minutes ahead of schedule. Good. Sets lantern down. Works fingers into the gap Isaiah showed him. Center section loose. Pulls. Sound brick scraping, brick. Loud in enclosed space. Stops. Listens. Nothing beyond the wall. Pulls again. Section comes away. Heavy. Awkward. Behind it, darkness and warmer air. Smell of human waste and fear. The cellar. Cyrus squeezes through the gap first. Rifle ready. Lantern raised. The cellar reveals itself. 30 feet square. Stone walls. Low ceiling 7 feet. And children. 18 children chained to iron rings and stone walls. Ages 4 to 12. Condition filthy, have not bathed in weeks. Underfed bones visible. Scared eyes hollow. Some sleeping on thin blankets. Some awake staring with eyes that learn not to hope. Cyrus's heart does not break. It shatters into pieces too small to count. Grace squeezes through behind him. Gasps. Hand over mouth. Tears start immediately. Then, boy sees them. 9 years old. Dark hair. Thin as a fence rail, eyes widen, recognition, disbelief. Desperate hope, word comes out as a whisper, part time stops. Daniel, Cyrus crosses the cellar in 4 strides, drops to his knees. Boy throws arms around him, shaking, sobbing silently into his shoulder. Cyrus holds him. This child he had raised for 2 years, lost, mourned, never stopped loving, never stopped searching for. Daniel whispers, I told them you would come. I told Emma. I told everyone. I knew you would come. Cyrus can barely speak. I am here now. I am here. Pulls back, looks at his son's face. Bruised, thinner than he should be, but alive. Still alive. Where is Emma? Daniel points. Little girl 7 years old, sitting against the far wall, blind in one eye from an old injury. Other eye watching them with cautious hope. Does not move. Does not dare believe. Grace goes to her. Kneels. Emma, I am Sister Grace. Remember me? I told you someone was coming? Gestures towards Cyrus. This is your Papa Cy. He is here to take you home. Emma looks past Grace to Cyrus. The man who had read her stories every night called her little bird. She starts crying, silent tears down dirty cheeks. The freeing. Technical sequence. Cyrus pulls out tools. Small hammer, cold chisel. Check the watch. 2:58. 2 minutes to fire. We have 20 minutes. Work fast. To children, first time addressing them all. I am getting you out, all of you. Stay quiet. Stay calm. We will be free soon. Starts with Daniel. Process. Position chisel on lock hasp. 3 strikes with hammer. Crack, crack, crack. Lock breaks. Chain falls away. Daniel free. Time 40 seconds. 18 children equals 12 minutes minimum. Cyrus moves child to child. Grace helps holding the lantern, speaking soft comfort. Child 2 girl 10 years old. Lock breaks. Free. Child 3 boy 5 years old. When the chain breaks, he starts crying. Not relief. Horror. Thinks it is a trick. Pain will be worse when they take him back. Grace holds him, rocks gently. It is real. You are free. I promise you are free. Children 4 through 10 systematic. Cyrus in rhythm now. 40 seconds each. Hands bleeding from rough iron. Does not notice. At 3 o'clock exactly. Through high cellar windows. Northern sky turns orange. Not gradually. Explosively. Isaiah's fire. Alarm bell starts ringing. Men shouting. Boots running. Dogs barking. Every guard in the convent converging on the north wing. The window opens. Children 11 through 18 faster now. Grace has a system, catches children as they are freed, lines them up at the brick wall opening. Emma freed. Cyrus holds her. Quick hug. Little bird. We are going home. 3:08. And those 18 children freed. To children. Listen carefully. We are leaving through that hole in the wall. It is a tunnel. Dark, tight, but safe. Stay together, stay quiet, follow Miss Grace. I will be behind you. Understand? 18 small heads nod. Some limp, some barely stand. Smallest boy, 5 years old, cannot walk at all. Cyrus picks him up. Light is kindling, bones showing through his shirt. Now, go. They are halfway across the cellar. Light floods the stairs. Door at top opens. Father Silas Thorne stands there, silhouetted against lamplight from the floor above. Physical description. Tall 6 feet, broad through shoulders, silver hair combed back, black robes, face profound sadness. Right hand pistol, holds it like he knows how to use it. Sister Grace, voice deep calm, accustomed to authority. I knew you would return. I told Sheriff Blake you would. Pause. Love makes people predictable. Grace stops. Children freeze behind her. Thorne descends stairs, slow, deliberate, each step echoing. Looks at Cyrus with pity. And you must be the mountain man, the one who saved her. Almost smiles. Do you know how many men like you I have met? Men who think love conquers all. Men who think they can save everyone. Cyrus quietly. I do not need to save everyone. Just these 18. Thorne. Why they are nothing to you. Orphans. Refuse. Children no one wants. Cyrus. They are children. That is enough. Thorne's philosophy. Moral complexity. Is that really enough? I have dedicated my life to these children. I feed them, clothe them, find them homes with families who can provide real futures. Points at Cyrus with pistol. Education. Opportunity. What can you give them? Your cabin in the woods. Poverty, ignorance, Cyrus. Freedom. Thorn laughs. Terrible sound, not cruel, genuinely amused. Freedom. The war cry of every fool who mistakes chaos for liberty. These children do not want freedom. They want structure. Someone to tell them what to do, where to go, how to be. Looks at children with sad eyes, I provide that. Grace, you sell them. Like livestock. Thorn. Face hardens. I place them strategically with families of means. Yes, I charge fees. Those fees keep this convent running. Keep other children alive. Voice cold. It is economics, Sister Grace. Supply and demand. I supply what the world demands. Grace. You killed Sister Ruth. Thorn's justification. She was going to destroy everything. 20 years of work. Hundreds of children saved. Yes, I killed her. One old woman to save hundreds of young lives. That is not murder. That is mathematics. That is sacrifice. Standoff. Cyrus edges hand toward rifle. Slow. Careful. Thorn. Pistol tracks movement instantly. Do not. I will shoot you, Mr. Blackwood. And then these children will watch you bleed out on this floor. Is that what you want, to traumatize them further? Above, fire alarms still ringing. Men shouting. Chaos. Cyrus calculates. 7 yards to Thorn. Pistol aimed at Chisin. Cannot miss. Winchester on shoulder. Would take 2 seconds to unsling. Too slow. Thorn will shoot. Thorn's offer. What do you want, Father? Grace asks. Thorn's eyes soften, looking at her. You come back willingly. Help me explain this to authorities. We will say you were confused, traumatized. We will say the mountain man kidnapped you and the children. I will protect you, like I have always protected you. Grace, like you protected me when you had me beaten and drowned Thorn. That was regrettable. Blake exceeded his authority. Will not happen again. Grace takes a step forward. Voice goes cold. I would rather die than help you hurt one more child. Thorn raises pistol, aims at her heart. Then you will die. I am sorry it came to this. His finger tightens on the trigger. Explosion from above. Not gunshot. Bigger. Secondary explosion. Fire reached something. Ammunition store, kerosene reserve. Tire building shakes. Timbers groan. Dust rains from ceiling. Blake and deputies instinctively look up. Cyrus moves. In 2 seconds. Unslings Winchester. Brings it to shoulder. Fires from 7 yards. Shot takes Thorn in the right shoulder. Spins him sideways. Pistol clatters to stone floor. Thorn staggers. Grips shoulder. Blood welling between fingers. Face shows shock, then pain, then rage. Grace screams to children. Run through the wall. Run now. Children scatter like startled deer, streaming toward the brick wall opening. Thorn lunges for fallen pistol with left hand. Cyrus fires again. Hits Thorn in left leg. Thorn goes down, screaming. Grace herding children through opening. Go, 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 Daniel, help your sister. Daniel leading Emma by hand. Into tunnel. Other children following. Above. Another massive explosion. Building coming down. Thorn on floor. Bleeding, screaming. You are destroying God's work. These children need me. Cyrus walks to him. Looks down. They need freedom more than they need you. Turns. Runs for wall opening. Last glimpse. Thorn trying to crawl towards stairs. Blood trail behind him. Building shaking apart above. Cyrus squeezes through wall gap. 500 paces. 18 children. Absolute darkness. Building collapsing above. Grace leading with lantern. Children streaming behind her like a river of small shadows. Cyrus taking rear. Carrying smallest boy, 5 years old, on shoulders. Extreme tension. First 200 paces. Children banging into walls. Crying. Terrified. Water ankle deep, ice cold. Soaking everyone. Above them, muffled explosions. Rumbling. Ceiling shaking. It is tunnel collapsing. Cannot tell. Emma cannot see well, one eye blind. Keeps stumbling. Daniel stays with her. Hold my hand, Emma. I got you. Grace. Keep moving. Do not stop at junction 300 paces. Right turn. Children starting to tire. Smallest ones crying. Older ones trying to help. Grace's leg bleeding through bandages. Does not stop. 400 paces. Behind them. Sound of pursuit. Voices echoing in tunnel. Not Blake. Someone else. Thorne's guards entering tunnel from cellar. Voices. They went this way. Follow them, Cyrus. Faster, move faster. He sets down the smallest boy. Daniel, carry him. Daniel picks up little boy. Cyrus turns, kneels, Winchester ready, waits. Through darkness behind, lantern light appearing. Getting closer, 2 guards. Cyrus aims, waits until they are 50 yards, fires twice. Crack, crack. Both shots hit. 1 guard drops, other screams, retreats. Buys them time. Cyrus turns, runs, 500 paces, mine entrance. Gray light of pre-dawn. Beautiful. Children burst out into open air, gasping, crying, free. Grace collapses against tree. Leg bleeding badly. Cyrus emerges last. Counts children. 18. All present. Relief floods through him. We did it, but not safe yet. Because waiting at the tree line, Sheriff Warren Blake with 8 armed men. Sheriff Warren Blake with 8 armed deputies, positioned in the tree line, rifles raised, surrounding the mine entrance. 18 children frozen, Grace trying to shield them. Cyrus' rifle empty, spent all rounds in the tunnel. His hand went to the Colt revolver at his belt. 6 rounds, 8 men. The math did not work. Blake stepped forward, gun drawn, smiling that terrible smile of a man who thinks he has won. Well now, Cyrus, looks like I caught me a whole nest of criminals. Cyrus pushed the children behind him. One hand on Daniel's shoulder, the other reaching slowly for his Colt. Warren, you do not want to do this, Blake laughed. Do I not? He looked around theatrically. I see kidnapping, breaking and entering, arson, assault on a man of God, grinned wider. That is a lot of reward money. Maybe enough to retire. Grace stepped forward. These children are witnesses to trafficking. To murder. Sheriff, you have to listen. Blake's laugh was harsh. Witnesses according to who? A wanted killer and a hermit to his deputies. No judge is going to believe them. The deputies laughed, nervous but following Blake's lead. Cyrus calculated. Could maybe drop 3 before they returned fire. Then the children would die. Not acceptable. He slowly raised his hands. On my honor, Warren, you win. Smart man. Blake's smile widened. Now kick that rifle over here. Cyrus kicked the Winchester toward Blake. It skittered across ground. And the pistol, slow, 2 fingers. Cyrus reached for the Colt. A voice rang out from the forest. Federal authority. Drop your weapons. Everyone froze. Judge Edmund Harris emerged from the trees. 70 years old. Thin as a knife blade. Black suit. Face carved from granite. Behind him 4 United States Marshals, all armed with Spencer repeating rifles. And Ethan Stone. Deputy badge gone. United States Marshal star pinned to his chest. Blake spun. Judge Harris. You are not supposed to be. Harris. Voice cold as January. Sheriff Blake. I have been investigating you for 6 months. He pulled a document from his coat. Corruption, complicity in human trafficking, accessory to murder, attempted murder. Looked at the marshals. Arrest Sheriff Warren Blake and his men, all charges. The marshals moved. Blake's deputies threw down weapons immediately. Hands up, no fight in them. Blake himself tried to run, made maybe 10 feet. A marshal tackled him. Took 3 men to cuff him. Blake fought the entire time, screaming, you cannot do this. I am the law here. I am the... A marshal cut him off. You was the law. Now you are just another criminal. The children started crying, not from fear, from relief, from the realization it was finally over. Cyrus dropped to his knees, held Daniel and Emma, both children sobbing into his shoulders. It is over. You are safe. I promise you are safe. Ethan approached Cyrus, tired, hollow-eyed, but smiling. Sorry I am late, boss. Cyrus stood, looked at him. You made it. Killed 4 horses doing it. Rode straight through. Charleston and back in 3.5 days. He pointed at Judge Harris. Convinced him to leave 12 hours early. Pushed hard. Got here just now. How did you know where we would be? Did not. Isaiah found us. Isaiah emerged from the forest, covered in soot, burned in places, but alive. Old friend. Cyrus started, set the fire. North wing went up like kindling. Guards converged like you said. Isaiah paused. But Blake's men were hunting too close. They would have found you at the extraction point. So it found Ethan instead. Led them here. Looked at the children. You got them all out. We did. Isaiah smiled. Then it was worth every burn. Judge Harris, where is Father Thorn Grace? Cellar, he was wounded. Building was collapsing. Harris to marshals. Find him. If he is alive, bring him. If he is dead, bring the body. Two marshals headed toward the convent. What remained of it? North wing completely destroyed, still smoking. Main building damaged but standing. Cellar accessible through the south entrance. 15 minutes later, marshals returned, half carrying, half dragging Father Silas Thorne. Condition, shot in a right shoulder, shot in left thigh, covered in dust and blood, face gray with pain and shock, but alive, conscious, eyes still sharp. He saw Judge Harris, tried to compose himself. Judge Harris, thank God you are here. These criminals broke into my convent, set it ablaze, shot me, kidnapped the children. Harris, save it, Father. He pulled a red leather journal from a marshal's hands. Sister Ruth's journal, every crime documented, 20 years of trafficking. Names, dates, amounts. Open to a random page. Read aloud. January 14th, 1879. Sold Mary Stone, age 10, to Hendricks Plantation, South Carolina. $1,200. Child has consumption, may not last year. Looked at Thorne. Mary Stone. That was Deputy Ethan Stone's sister. She died 8 months later. Worked to death. Ethan stepped forward, face carved from stone. Thorne saw him. Recognition dawned. You are the boy from Pennsylvania, the one who kept asking about his sister. Ethan, 20 years I have been looking for her grave. 20 years, voice broke. And all that time you knew. You knew what happened to her. Hand went to pistol. Harris, Deputy Stone. Do not. Ethan's hands shook, but stopped. To Thorne, you will stand trial. You will face every family whose children you sold. You will spend the rest of your miserable life in a cage. Leaned close, whispered, and I hope you live a very long time. Marshals brought 2 wagons from the convent stables, loaded 18 children, blankets distributed, bread and water, children huddled together, still scared, starting to believe they might actually be safe. Grace moved among them, speaking softly, checking injuries. Cyrus watched, saw her with the children, natural, gentle, born for this. Daniel stayed close to Cyrus, would not let go of his hand. Pa. Where are we going, Harlan? Small town, 40 miles from here. There is a church, safe place, food beds, medicine. And then Cyrus knelt, eye level with his son, and then we figure out the rest together. You, me, Emma, we are family. Families stay together. Daniel's eyes filled with tears. You promise, I promise, never again will anyone take you from me. Emma appeared, grabbed Cyrus's other hand. Papa Ty, can we really go home? Cyrus picked her up, despite his exhaustion. Little bird, we are going to make a new home, big enough for you, Daniel, and anyone else who needs one. She buried her face in his neck, crying quietly. Grace watched this, smiled through her own tears. Judge Harris approached. Mr. Blackwood, Sister Grace, you will need to come to Harland as well. Give testimony, help prepare the case. The children, Harris, will be cared for. I give you my word. Looked at them seriously. What you did tonight, breaking into a convent, shooting Thorne, burning a building. Technically, those are crimes, paused. Let that sink in. But given the circumstances, given the evidence, given these children alive, because of you, no charges will be filed. You have my word on that too. Cyrus, thank you. Harris, do not thank me. Thank whatever God you believe in that Ethan Stone rode 300 miles in 3.5 days to bring me here. 2 wagons, 4 marshals. Judge Harris. Blake and Thorne in chains in separate wagon. Cyrus Grace, Isaiah, Ethan riding alongside. Children in first wagon. Singing, someone started it. Simple song, Amazing Grace. Ironic. Perfect. Other children joined in. Voices pure, untrained, beautiful. Grace listening, crying silently. Isaiah rode beside her. You did good work tonight, white woman. Grace. We all did. Isaiah. No, you did. You walked back into the place that tried to kill you. You saved 18 lives. Pause. Sister Ruth would be proud. Grace broke down, sobbing. Isaiah did not try to comfort, just rode beside her, presence enough. Cyrus rode with it, Ethan. You came back, Cyrus said. You saved my life 20 years ago. I told you I would pay that debt. This more than pays it. Ethan shook his head. No, boss, this makes us even. What you did tonight, getting those children out, that is something else entirely. Looked at Cyrus seriously. You are a good man, Cyrus Blackwood. Better than you think. Cyrus did not know what to say to that. Dawn broke as they rode. September 17th, 1883. Sun rising over the Blue Ridge. 18 children safe. 2 monsters in chains. Justice coming. Harland at noon. Word had spread somehow. Always does in small towns. Crowd gathered. 150 people. Maybe more. When the wagons arrived with children applause. Women crying, men taking off hats. Children scared of the crowd at first. Too many people, too much noise. But then they saw the faces. Not anger, not judgment. Kindness, relief, welcome. Church deacon stepped forward. Judge Harris, we have prepared the church basement. Beds, food, clean clothes. Doctor standing by. Harris, thank you. To children, you are safe now. These people will care for you. Children unloaded slowly, still nervous. But women from town approached gently, offering hands, smiles, comfort. One woman, Mrs. Sarah Chen Baker's wife, knelt before a small girl 6 years old. Hello, sweetheart. My name is Sarah. Are you hungry? The girl nodded. Then let us get you some fresh bread and honey. Would you like that? The girl took her hand. One by one, children led into church. Gentle hands, soft voices, promise of safety. Grace watched. To Cyrus. They will be all right. How do you know? Because look at those people. They are not here for reward or recognition. They are here because it is right. Pause. Good people still exist. We just forget sometimes. Blake and Thorne taken to jail. Small stone building. 2 cells. Blake in one. Thorne in other. Blake still screaming. This is illegal. I demand a lawyer. I demand. Marshal, you will get a lawyer at trial. Slammed cell door. Thorne silent, sitting on cot, staring at nothing. Face empty of everything except pain. Grace looked at him through bars. Thorne saw her, spoke softly. Did you get the journal, Then I suppose it is over. Pause. For what it is worth, I truly believed I was helping them. Grace, I know you did. That is what makes it worse. Evil men who know they are evil can be stopped. But men who do evil believing it is good. Shook her head. They are the most dangerous of all. Walked away. Did not look back. September 18th, one day after rescue. Harlan Courthouse. Preparation for trial. Judge Harris met with Cyrus, Grace, and Ethan. Trial begins tomorrow. Fast, I know, but Thorne has powerful friends. Delay gives them time to interfere. We need to move quickly, move decisively, move justly. To Cyrus, you will testify about finding Sister Grace, about what happened to Daniel and Emma, about the rescue. To Grace, you will testify about your 6 years at the convent, about Sister Ruth's murder, about what you witnessed. To Ethan, you will present evidence, documents, journal, testify about Blake's corruption. The children, some will testify, not all, only one strong enough. We will not force anyone, Grace. I will talk to them, see who can handle it. That afternoon, Grace met with children in the church basement. Tomorrow, some of you may be asked to tell what happened, to tell the truth about Father Thorne, about the cellar, about everything. It is going to be hard, scary, but it is important. Because if you are brave enough to speak, Father Thorne can never hurt another child. Silence. Then Daniel stood. I will do it. I will tell them what he did. Emma. Me too. One by one, children volunteered. 10 of them total, ages 7 to 12. 10 children willing to face their nightmare in open court. Grace told Harris that evening, "We have our witnesses." September 19th, 9 in the morning. Courtroom packed. Every seat filled. People standing along walls. Not just Harlan residents. Word spread. People came from neighboring counties. Judge Harris presiding. 4 federal marshals against walls. Security tight. Defendants. Father Silas Thorne. Clean clothes provided. Shoulder and leg bandaged. Shackled. Sitting with court-appointed lawyer nervous man from Lexington. Sheriff Warren Blake. Also shackled. Separate lawyer. Face red with humiliation and rage. The jury. 12 men. Farmers, shopkeepers, 1 school teacher. Faces serious. Bailiff. All rise. Harris entered. Black robes. Granite face. Be seated. Gavel struck. This court is now in session. The United States of America versus Father Silas Thorne and Sheriff Warren Blake. Charges: human trafficking, conspiracy, murder, attempted murder, corruption. Looked at defendants. How do you plead? Thorne's lawyer. Not guilty, Your Honor. Blake's lawyer. Not guilty, Your Honor. Harris. Very well. Prosecution may begin. Federal prosecutor James Morrison. 50s, gray hair, sharp eyes, reputation for integrity. The prosecution calls Deputy Ethan Stone. Ethan took the stand. Sworn in. Morrison. Deputy Stone, how long have you worked for Sheriff Blake? 3 years. And during that time, did you ever suspect him of corruption? Yes, sir. Multiple times. Can you give examples? Ethan listed incidents. 1879. Blake arrested vagrant for theft. Man found dead in cell next morning. Suicide officially, but bruises on throat. 1880. Blake received $500 from logging company week before approving timber contract on disputed land. 1881. 3 prisoners disappeared from jail. No record of transfer, no record of release. Blake said they escaped, never investigated. 1882. Blake seen multiple times at St. Helena Convent meeting with Father Thorne. Always left with envelope. Morrison, what was in the envelope, Ethan? Money, I saw it once. $200 cash. Did you ask Blake about it? Yes. He said it was donation to church. Did you believe him? No, sir. Why not? Because a week later, 3 children were transferred from county orphanage to St. Helena Convent, against their will, crying, begging not to go. Pause. Blake personally oversaw the transfer. Jury shifted. Writing notes. Morrison. What happened 3 nights before the convent fire? Blake came back from woods. 2 in the morning. Had blood on boots. Did you ask him about it? Yeah. He said he put down a mad dog. Did you believe him? No, sir. Because next morning, St. Helena reported Sister Grace dead. Said she killed Sister Ruth, then drowned herself out of guilt. But Sister Grace did not drown, did she? No, sir, she survived. Because Mr. Blackwood found her in the creek and saved her life. Morrison, no further questions. The prosecution calls Sister Grace Hammond. Grace walked to the stand, limping still, but head high, back straight, sworn in. Morrison, Sister Grace, how long were you at St. Helena Convent? 6 years. And during that time, what did you witness? I witnessed Father Thorne sell children to wealthy families. I witnessed abuse. I witnessed murder. Morrison, let us start with the trafficking. How did it work? Grace explained. The process. Orphans taken from county homes, from streets, from parents who died, brought to St. Helena under guise of education and care. Sorted. Healthy, light-skinned young equals sold quickly, $500 to $2,000. Sick, dark-skinned, older equals kept in cellar, worked as labor. Buyers. Rich families from Philadelphia, Boston, Charleston, sometimes further, would visit, inspect children like livestock. Father Thorne would parade the good ones, the pretty ones, the quiet ones. Families would choose. Money would change hands. Child would leave. Morrison, what happened to children who were not sold? Grace's voice dropped. They stayed in the cellar, chained, fed once a day, beaten if they cried. Some died, pneumonia, fever, starvation. Father Thorne would say they passed in their sleep. God's will. Jury horrified. Several women in audience crying. Morrison, Sister Ruth, tell us what happened. Grace testified about murder. Sister Ruth was nursed during war. She kept records. Every child sold, every amount, every buyer. She was going to authorities. Pause. Breathe. I found Father Thorne strangling her in the chapel. October 12th, 1882, 11 at night. She was already dead when I got there. He saw me. He smiled. Said, "Now you are part of this too, Morrison." What did he mean that I had witnessed murder? That I was complicit? That if I told anyone, he would say I did it? Morrison, what happened after Grace testified about her beating? Father Thorne told Sheriff Blake I was dangerous, possessed, had killed Sister Ruth. Blake took me to the woods. September 14th, 1883. Night. Him and two others. They beat me, pulled down collar, showed fading bruises. They carved the word property into my back. Courtroom gasped. "Morrison, Your Honor, may Sister Grace show the jury Harris, if she is willing." Grace stood, turned, lowered dress back, modest just enough. Jury saw, property carved between shoulder blades. Healing, scabbed, would scar forever. Courtroom erupted in shocked voices. Harris banged a gavel. Order Grace covered herself. Sat. Morrison. "What happened after they carved you? They threw me in the creek. To drown, but current carried me downstream. Mr. Blackwood found me, saved my life." Morrison. No further questions. Thorne's lawyer stood for cross-examination. "Sister Grace, is it not true you killed your own father?" "Yeah." "And is it not true you were sent to St. Helena because of that crime?" "Yes." "So you admit you are capable of murder." "How do we know you did not kill Sister Ruth?" Grace looked directly at jury. "I did kill my father." Judge Owen Hammond. "I poisoned him." Pause. Let that land. Because he had been raping me since I was 14. Because he forced a miscarriage that killed my baby. Because no one would stop him. Voice never wavered. "I am not asking you to forgive me. I am asking you to believe me. Those 18 children are real. Their suffering is real. And Father Thorne put them there." Courtroom silent. Lawyer sat down. No more questions. Morrison. The prosecution calls Daniel Reed. Daniel took the stand. 9 years old, thin, scared, but determined. Sworn in with child's oath. Morrison, gentle voice. "Daniel, can you tell us your name?" Daniel Reed. "How old are you?" 9. "Almost 10. Daniel, do you know why you are here to tell the truth about Father Thorne?" "That is right. And I know this is scary, but you are very brave. Can you tell us what happened to you?" Daniel's testimony. 2 years ago, my ma and pa died. Bushwhackers killed them. Mr. Cyrus," pointed at Cyrus. "He found me and Emma, took us in. We lived with him for 2 years. He taught me to hunt to track. He read stories to Emma every night. Voice broke. He was our pa. Then Father Thorne came. Had papers. Said we needed proper education. Said law required it. Pa cried. I cried. Emma cried. But Father Thorne took us anyway." Morrison. "What happened at St. Helena?" Daniel described the cellar. "They put us in the basement. Dark, cold, chained us to walls, fed us once a day. Scraps, sometimes moldy bread, sometimes nothing. If we cried, they hit us, showed arm, scar. Sister Margaret hit me with wooden spoon. Said crying was weakness." Morrison. "How long were you in the cellar?" 2 years. 730 days, I counted. Jury horrified. Morrison. "Did children die while you were there?" Daniel nodded. "Michael, he was 4. Got sick, coughing blood. We begged for a doctor. Father Thorne said medicine cost too much. Said God would heal him if he deserved it. Tears now. Michael died holding my hand. He was nice. He shared his food even when he was hungry." Morrison. No further questions. Thorne's lawyer wisely declined cross-examination. Morrison. The prosecution calls Emma Reed. Emma took the stand. 7 years old, blind in one eye, terrified. Grace stood. "Your Honor, may I sit with her, Harris?" Allowed. Grace sat beside Emma, held her hand. Morrison knelt beside stand, eye level. Emma. "I am Mr. Morrison. I am here to help. Can you tell everyone your name?" Emma Reed. "How old are you?" Emma. 7. Almost 8. Emma. "Can you tell us what happened to your eye?" Emma touched her blind eye. "Sister Margaret hit me. I cried too much. She said crying was weakness." Morrison. "Did Father Thorne know this was happening?" "Yes, sir, he watched sometimes." "What did he do when he watched nothing?" "Just watched. Then he would pick which children to show to visitors." "Who were the visitors?" People who wanted to buy us. Thorne's lawyer objected, leading improper characterization. Harris leaned forward, voice cold as death. Overruled, and counselor, if you object one more time to a child telling her truth, I will hold you in contempt. Clear lawyer, swallowed. Yes, Your Honor, Emma continued. The visitors would come, look at us, touch our hair, check our teeth like horses. They would pick one, give Father Thorne money, take the child. We never saw them again. Morris and Emma, do you see the man responsible for what happened to you in this courtroom? Emma's one good eye scanned the room, stopped on Thorne, pointed, him, the priest, Morrison. Let the record show. Witness identified defendant Father Silas Thorne. To Emma, Emma, you are very brave. One more question. What did you think would happen to you, Emma? Quiet voice but clear. I thought we would die there. I thought no one cared. Pause. But then Papa Cy came. He kept his promise, looked at Cyrus, smiled. He said he would never let anyone hurt us again. And he meant it. Courtroom silent, some jurors wiping eyes. Morrison, no further questions. Harris, we will break for lunch. Gavel struck. Afternoon session. 8 more children testified, each story similar, each story heartbreaking. By 4 in the afternoon, jury looked ready to convict on the spot. Thorne's lawyer called no witnesses. What could they say? But Thorne insisted on speaking. Harris, does defendant wish to testify? Thorne, I do, Your Honor. Took the stand, sworn in, lawyer, Father Thorne. Did you run St. Helena Convent? I did, for 20 years. And did you place children with families? Yes. Hundreds of children. Gave them better lives than poverty and ignorance. Lawyer, the prosecution claims you sold children. Is that true? Thorne's defense? I charged fees. Adoption fees. Those fees kept the convent running, kept other children alive. It is economics, supply and demand. I supplied what the world demanded. Looked at jury. Every child I placed went to a family better than what they had. Better homes, better food, better education. Yes, some children stayed in the cellar because no one wanted them. What was I supposed to do? Turn them out to starve? I gave them shelter, food, purpose. Morrison objected. Your Honor. Harris, let him speak. Let the jury hear his defense. Thorne continued. Sister Ruth was going to destroy everything. 20 years of work, hundreds of saved children. I could not let that happen. Voice cold. Yes, I killed her, one old woman versus hundreds of young lives. That is not murder. That is sacrifice. Jury staring, horrified. Morrison cross-examined. Father Thorne, you call it sacrifice. But you did not sacrifice anything. Sister Ruth died, not you. Pause. You call it economics. But those are children, not commodities. You say you gave them shelter, but you chained them in darkness. You say you could not let Ruth destroy your work, but that work was destruction. Lean close. You are not a savior, Father Thorne. You are a monster who convinced himself he is a saint, and that makes you the most dangerous kind of evil. Morrison, no further questions. Morrison's closing. 30 minutes. Methodical, devastating, laid out evidence piece by piece. Sister Ruth's journal, 20 years documented, 18 witnesses' children, Grace's testimony, Ethan's testimony. Physical evidence, scars, records, money trails. Gentlemen of the jury, this is not a complicated case. Father Silas Thorne sold children, hundreds of them, for profit. He kept unsold ones in a cellar, chained, starved, beaten. He murdered a woman who tried to stop him. He has shown no remorse, no guilt, no humanity. Looked at Thorne. He believes he was helping them. That is what makes him truly dangerous. Because a man who knows he is doing evil can be reasoned with. But a man who does evil believing it is good, he will never stop. To jury, you have the opportunity to stop him, to make sure no child ever suffers in his care again. I ask you to find Father Silas Thorne guilty. On all charges, defense closing, weak. Lawyer knew he was lost. Tried arguing technicalities. Tried suggesting children were coached. Jury not buying it. Harris, jury will deliberate. Jury left. Returned in 40 minutes. Foreman stood. We find defendant Father Silas Thorne guilty on all charges. We find defendant Sheriff Warren Blake guilty on all charges. Courtroom erupted in applause. Harris banged gavel but did not stop it immediately. Let them have the moment. Next morning, September 20th. Harris. Father Silas Thorne, please stand. Thorne stood, shackled, face empty. Harris sentencing. In 40 years on the bench, I have never encountered evil quite so banal. You feel no remorse, no guilt, nothing. You tortured children and called it education. You sold human beings and called it adoption. You murdered a woman and called it necessary. You have destroyed hundreds of lives, destroyed hundreds of families. Pause. And you believe you were helping them. Harris leaned forward. Father Silas Thorne, I sentence you to life imprisonment without possibility of parole for human trafficking. Additional 20 years for first-degree murder of Sister Ruth. Additional 15 years for conspiracy. Sentences to run consecutively. You will die in custody. You will never see daylight as a free man. May whatever God you claim to serve have mercy on your soul, because this court has none. Gavel struck. Guards led Thorne away. He did not look back. Blake sentencing. Harris. Sheriff Warren Blake, you betrayed every oath you ever took. You protected a monster. You participated in trafficking. You attempted murder. I sentence you to 20 years hard labor, to be served at federal prison in West Virginia. Blake. No, this is illegal, I demand. Harris. You demand nothing. Guards remove him. Blake dragged out screaming. It was over. Cyrus sat in the gallery, Daniel one side, Emma the other, held both their hands. It is finished, September 22nd. Harlan Town Square. 17 of 18 children had found families. Process was careful, thorough. Judge Harris and Grace interviewed each family, verified resources, character, intentions. One by one children placed. William 12 to farmer's family, Sarah 10 to teacher's family, James 8 to blacksmith's family, others to good homes, good people, each child knowing. If it goes wrong, if they are hurt, they can come back. Grace and Cyrus will help. Daniel and Emma stayed with Cyrus. No question, no debate. They were his children, legal papers just formality. Judge Harris helped expedite adoption. That evening, farewells. Isaiah preparing to return to cabin. You will be all right, old friend, Cyrus asked. I have survived worse. Besides, someone needs to keep the mountains safe while you are busy with children. Gripped Cyrus's shoulder. You did good work. Your boys would be proud. Meant Benjamin and James, who died 13 years ago. Cyrus, voice thick. Thank you. For everything, Isaiah. Thank me, you are the one who smiled again. That is payment enough. Ethan staying as United States Marshal, assigned to Virginia region, will oversee enforcement. Keep an eye on things, boss, he asked Cyrus. Always. They shook hands. Warriors who fought together. 1 week later. September 29th. Cyrus stood in Harlan Land Office. Money from reward $800 for capturing Thorne. Plus 300 life savings. 1,100 total. Clerk spread maps. Looking for how much land Cyrus. 50 acres. Water. Flat enough to build. Room for house barn, maybe more. Grace beside him. Her leg healed enough to walk without stick. Scars remained but fading. Clerk, got just the place. Shenandoah Valley. Creek running through. 45 acres. $800. Cyrus looked at Grace. What do you think, Grace? I think 18 children just found homes because you fought for them, and I think 45 acres sounds like room enough for ones who might need homes in the future. Cyrus paid, signed deed, walked out owning land for first time since Sarah died. Daniel and Emma waited outside. We got land, Pa. We got land. Can we build a big house, Cyrus? That is the plan. Building montage. October through November. Team. Bruce, Daniel learning carpentry. Isaiah visiting. 10 volunteers from Harlan. Result. 2-story frame house. 6 bedrooms. Wide porch. Stone foundation. Oak timbers. Cedar shingles. Cost 300 materials. Grace supervised. Drew plans. Made decisions. Men followed her directions without question. She had earned that authority through blood and courage. Finished early December, before first snow, moved in. Cyrus, Grace, Daniel, Emma. 4 people in house built for 20. felt empty. Grace, it will not stay empty long. 2 weeks later, first arrival. Woman appeared at gate, 24 years old, face bruised, pregnant, terrified, heard about place where women are safe, walked 20 miles to reach it. Grace met her at door. Is this the place? Yes. Come in. You are safe here. Woman's name Clara, beaten by husband, ran with nothing. Grace gave her room, clean clothes, food, hope. Clara stayed 3 months. During that time, 2 more women arrived, then another. By spring, 6 women and their children living at house. Grace taught them reading, keeping accounts, legal rights, self-defense. Cyrus taught practical skills, fix fences, plant gardens, handle weapons if needed. The rhythm, 3 times a day. Morning 6 in the morning. Cyrus woke household, built fires, started breakfast. Time for beginning. Noon. Gather for meal, share news, make plans. Time for community. Evening. After supper, children in bed, adults talked around fire. Time for healing. 3 times a day, every day. Choosing love over fear. Choosing presence over absence. Choosing life over death. September 14th, 1884. 1 year exactly after Cyrus found Grace in the creek. The house now called St. Margaret Home after Sister Ruth, real name Margaret, had 2 buildings. Original house plus new dormitory building. Helped out 23 women and 31 children in past year. Cyrus, 54 years old, stood on porch watching sunrise. Daniel, 10, appeared beside him. Morning, Pa, morning, son. They stood together in comfortable silence. Daniel, Pa, are you happy? Cyrus thought about it. Happy was complicated. Isaiah returned to his cabin, visited monthly health declining, but spirit strong. Ethan wrote occasional letters. Martial work kept him busy. Benjamin and James, his dead sons, still hurt, always would. But Daniel beside him, Emma safe, Grace alive and strong. 23 women found sanctuary, 31 children safe. Cyrus, getting there, getting closer every day. Emma appeared, carrying a baby, one of the resident women's infants. Papa Sai, baby is awake. Took baby, rocked gently, natural. Grace emerged, coffee in hands, stood beside Cyrus, watched sunrise together. Grace, hard to believe it has been a year. Feels like yesterday. Feels like a lifetime. Grace, we did something good here. You did this. I just provided land. Grace shook her head. No, you found me dying in a creek. You chose to save me when you could have walked away. You risked everything to free those children. Looked at him seriously. This exists because of you, Cyrus. This exists because of us. All of us, Isaiah, Ethan, you, me. All of us choosing to show up. Pause. 3 times a day. Grace smiled. 3 times a day. Behind them. House coming alive. Women stirring. Children waking. Sounds of life, hope, healing. Cyrus thought about that September morning a year ago. Finding Grace in the creek. Choosing to save her. Starting a war with monsters. One choice led to everything. Isaiah was right. Dark cannot hurt you. Only fear of dark can. And Cyrus stopped being afraid. Daniel. Pa, Miss Grace. Breakfast, ready. Grace, coming. They walked inside together. Family, chosen, scarred, imperfect. But family nonetheless. Camera pulled back. Through window, see them around table. Laughing, eating, living. Fade to black on warm scene.